This video will be another example using a scanner to collect information from a user and do some simple math. We're going to do the second example, write a Java program to calculate and print the area of a right triangle with height and base entered by the user. In this case, height and base are going to be double values, and the area is going to be a double. So let's go ahead and solve this problem. We're going to come to JDoodle. We're going to create our start with an example. Get rid of our boilerplate here. Okay. Do my import java.util.scanner. Going to declare an instance of the scanner. Okay. So that works there. Then we're going to, and I've made an error on that line on purpose to demonstrate some debugging skills here. So I've scanner. The error is that I've misspelled system. I've left the M out. Notice that the color highlighting is helping me here as well, because if I spelled that correctly, system would be red. I've misspelled it, so it's not highlighting it properly. So I'm getting some help from the editor here to help me find my mistakes. But I've made that mistake on purpose so that I can demonstrate some debugging and such skills. So now I want to do two prompts: system.out.println, enter height. Okay. Then I'm going to do scanner string input equals scanner dot next line. Okay. And then I'm going to do double height equals double dot parse double input. Okay. All right, so here we are. So I've done one prompt here, and I've made a bunch of errors in this, so I'm going to go ahead and run this, and we'll see that we'll start getting the error messages so that we can debug. This. So this time we run, we get 3 errors. There's probably more than 3, but so we can just solve them one at a time. This says not a statement. So this is line 6, system, comma, dot out. So I put in an extra comma there. So line 6, I've got an extra comma. Let's get rid of that comma. Okay. We can come down here. It says here line 7. This line 6 saying semicolon expected. This is the same problem. So the compiler is actually giving us 2 error messages for the same thing. So we fixed that one. Here's Java line 7. This says semicolon expected. There's an extra period here in input. So let me go ahead and fix that. Run it again. I still have errors. Now we say, here's an error, cannot find symbol, scanner S equals new scanner system. Variable syst, it says, is undefined, so that should be system. Okay, so we'll fix that on line 5. Run it again. Get another error. So see what we're doing. We've made a bunch of errors. We're just solving them one at a time as we go through. Scanner.nextLine cannot find symbol, method nextLine. This is because nextLine is the name of a method, and so it's going to be a lowercase n. So that's going to be lowercase n. Okay. We can always go back to our examples here. See, we've got examples on the slides that will show us how to do these things. So if you get stuck, always go back and refer to the slides or to the book for the syntax. String. So we've got that next line fixed. Okay, let's run it again. This says variable input. It says input is not defined on line 8. So that's spelled right, but what happened here is on line 7, on line 7, I misspelled input. So I defined in out here, but I used input here. So these are so it's looking for 2 different variables. So I need to make them the same. String input. I think we've got one more error. parse double is going to find. Doesn't know what that means, and it's because I misspelled double. double. Okay, let's run that. Enter height 10. Okay. All right. So I haven't actually finished the code yet, but what I've written is syntactically correct and is running and getting the execution experience that I expect based on what I've written. So the point to take there is if you're a poor typer or like I am, or you just are misspelling things, then you're going to get those errors along the way. You want to type 4 or 5 lines of code, execute your program, type some more code, execute your program, because the more you execute it, the more you'll be solving the mistakes and the errors that you make. In this case, we typed 4 lines of code. We made like 6 or 7 errors, right? So we want to make sure that we are getting those identified and run. So we want to type a little bit of code, execute the program, type a little bit of code, execute the program, etc. Let's go ahead and do the second prompt system, where this time we want the base. I'm going to be more careful typer this time. Okay. So there's our prompt. We'll do the input. I don't need to define input again. So I'm just going to say, because I already defined it, so I'm just going to use it. Input equals scanner dot next line. And then I'll do the conversion. Double base equals uppercase double dot parse lowercase p double uppercase d input semicolon. Okay. Now let's go ahead and run that. We should have 2 prompts. Type 3 more lines. I'm running it to make sure I didn't make a mistake. So no syntax errors. So it compiled. Let's see if it does what we want. 10. Enter the base. Okay. All right. So that's correct to this point. Now we want to actually do the area calculation and then print that out. Double area equals base times height divided by 2. System.out.println area plus area. Okay. Run that. So this should work. If we didn't make any mistakes, we should get the answer. 13, 17, 110.5. Okay. Done. So now we save it. We'll call this triangle solver with input. Okay. And our example is done.